A London university has been banned from teaching students from outside Europe following an investigation by the UK Border Agency. It found evidence that some students at London Metropolitan had no right to be in the UK, while the university itself just didn't know whether others were turning up for courses. However, the National Union of Students called the ruling unfair and said it could mean that up to 2,000 students will now face deportation. Our Home Affairs correspondent Matt Prodger reports.
Anxious times at London Metropolitan University. More than 2,000 students have just learned that they risk being deported within 60 days unless they can find a university place elsewhere. Among them, Emmanuel Egwu, who says he's spent £40,000 on his education here so far.
It's outrageous. I'm totally disturbed. I'm worried. My parents are worried. I've been in this university since 2009. My parents spend a lot of money paying tuition fee for me and accommodation and my living expenses. They sell my properties back home to make sure that they take care of me here, and this is happening to me. I mean, how do you expect me to feel?
So how's the university ended up in this situation? Well, the government's committed to reducing immigration, but it has very few mechanisms at its disposal to do that. So it's focusing on foreign students, more specifically bogus students, those who are here not to study, but to get a visa.
International.
As university administrators took calls from bewildered students, the Home Office claims more than a quarter of students sampled at the university had no leave to remain. There was evidence of inadequate levels of English, and the university didn't know if half of them were turning up for lectures.
The problems at London Metropolitan were so serious that it couldn't be allowed to continue. The public demands, quite rightly, proper immigration controls, and enforcing the immigration rules is important for universities just as it is for employers.
London Metropolitan says it will challenge the government's decision.
We would be horrified if we thought it could be sustained that we were harbouring illegal immigrants under the guise of being students. So we're investigating all the accusations that have been made.
Students from the university gathered outside Downing Street to protest. A task force has been set up to help genuine students find places at other universities before the 60-day deadline expires. The clock is ticking. Matt Prodger, BBC News, North London.
Well, meanwhile, latest figures show net migration fell last year by 36,000. The figure, which shows the number of people entering the UK compared with those leaving, is well above the government's target. But ministers say the drop is a sign that its policies are working. Well, let's speak to our political correspondent, Ross Hawkins. Well, does it show then the government is getting any nearer to its target?
Well, the government's target is a pretty tough one. It wants to get that figure down to one in the tens rather than hundreds of thousands. We talk about net migration, the difference between the number of people coming to this country for good and the number of those leaving. As you mentioned, it's down by about 36,000, but it's still well over 200,000. Now, something Labour are pointing out is the experts at the Office for National Statistics haven't been very helpful today. They've said this drop is not statistically significant because of the way the numbers are collected. But ministers are pretty positive, and they're positive because of recent figures about visas that show the numbers being issued in some key areas are down pretty sharply. And interestingly, the light of the story we just heard about universities, particularly in the number of student visas issued. So ministers are positive. They think they've got a pretty good chance of hitting their target by the time of the next general election. But given where the figures are now and where they'd have to be for that to happen, they've got a long way to go.
All right, Ross, thank you.